All right, we're going to play a little Nostradamus here to end this episode of Pushing the Pile. We're going to look in the crystal ball. We're going to go to the next 5 Super Bowls and see who exactly is going to be in them. And we can maybe make some predictions. So 2025 is going to be in Santa Clara. 2026 is in Inglewood. 2027 is in Atlanta. CBS product. Put it on your schedules.
I'll be there.
Company man. 2028, we don't know where it's going to be. 2029, same. So who you got for next year, Kyle? Who's going to be here when we're in Santa Clara?
You know, I wouldn't be surprised if it was a Philadelphia Eagle, Kansas City Chief rematch.
It might
again.
be, dude. They're stacked.
I mean, they're an all-star team in Philadelphia. They really are. And they're
so
a young group. They've drafted well. Credit to Howie Roseman. But let's also give credit to Brett Veach for finding a way to always reload, retool. And they got Patrick Mahomes still. Andy Reid ain't going anywhere. I suspect Travis Kelce will be back again. I don't have any inside information. So, 2025, Santa Clara, Philadelphia Eagles, Kansas City Chiefs. And the Chiefs win again.
God, I might quit. If that happens, it's like I'm covering the sport that's just like a solved game. I might just be like, I'll try my hand at something else. I'll start doing golf analysis.
So who do you
instead.
think?
I have the Green Bay Packers. No bias whatsoever on this one, but the Green Bay Packers, there's so much young talent. Defensive resurgence. I think the arrow's only pointed upward. They have a lot of cap space, over $40 million of cap space, so they can add more to even what they did this past offseason. They were great at identifying talent. Josh Jacobs, Xavier McKinney, those guys were superstars for them. So I think the Packers make it there.
Josh Jacobs, some comments this week.
He wants a number 1 wide receiver.
Yeah,
if they get a number 1 wide receiver,
that receiver room's like, hey,
Yeah,
WTF, Josh?
dude,
what's up with that?
Dontavion Wicks did not take kindly to it.
Quote
but Dontavion,
tweet.
Maybe hold on to the footballs.
Yo, okay.
Line drop special. All right, and then I have them face the Baltimore Ravens because I think they were on the doorstep this year. Derrick Henry ain't going anywhere, and he's not aging. That guy with how he takes care of his body, $500,000 a year on that thing. I think they come back, and I think they make it. I don't think they win it because I think the Packers win it, but that's my Super Bowl next year.
There's been so many happenings in the playoffs, and I just keep forgetting that Mark Andrews, who has been an absolute stalwart for this offense, I feel terrible for him. He's a good guy. He's a great player, but that drop, oh, boy, the Ravens. I mean, I know Ravens fans would love to get to the Super Bowl here. 2026. Inglewood. We're going back to Cali. Again, Santa Clara, and then Inglewood. I got the Chicago Bears. The USC Trojan, Caleb Williams.
Year 3.
Okay. Second year of the Ben Johnson regime.
Okay.
I talked to Roma Dunze earlier. I'm going to get his jersey. He's an absolute stud and a sweetheart. Nice guy. They got a lot of talent there. They're going to draft well. They're going to do well to bolster that offensive line, help that offense become explosive, first half and second half. I know the second half numbers were great. But they're going to start out well in 2026, and they're going to end up going to the Super Bowl. And they're going to play Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills, who are finally going to get over the hump that year and get to the Super Bowl, and then they're going to lose to the Chicago Bears.
Okay, I have a similar AFC pick. Cincinnati Bengals. I just think they'll get back there. That's when 2026, it'll take them that long to actually finally put a good offensive line around Joe Burrow. But then once they do, they will be a pretty darn near unstoppable offense. And I have them facing the Washington Commanders because if you saw the Commanders in the NFC Championship game, one, they're close, but two, they need a lot still on this roster. Jaden Daniels only can get you so far. You need talent to overcome that hump in the NFC right now because there's far, far better rosters than them. But 2 years from now, with the decisions they made this offseason, I think they will be heading arrow up. And I think they take it, actually.
In 2026.
2026. Commanders
Inglewood.
are your Super Bowl champions. 2027 Atlanta.
You said Bengals and Washington?
Yeah.
I had them in 2027 in Atlanta.
I'm just here.
Bengals and Atlanta. Or Bengals and Washington. I mean, look, Joe Burrow, in my opinion, should have been in the MVP conversation this year. It was criminal the way that team performed defensively. The entire team let their guy Joe Burrow down. On the contrary, Jaden Daniels came in as a rookie, played incredibly, and the team played above their standard. They were awesome. Dan Quinn, the culture, the defense, Luvu, Wagner, these guys were great. They're going to find a way to retool defensively because Wagner can't play forever. You can't get that production forever. But Jaden Daniels is not going everywhere. I think they get better on the offensive line. They had a good offensive line this year, not great. They get better. I think it's going to be the Bengals and the Commanders, two teams that needed to improve a little bit to get over the hump, and I think they do in the next 2 years. Atlanta, that's what it's going to be.
All right, my Atlanta is the Minnesota Vikings against the Houston Texans. Year 4 of J.J. McCarthy, year 3 of him as a starter. Houston Texans, it's year 5 of C.J. Stroud. I think that's when C.J. really hones in because he's got so much talent. The guy is just unbelievably gifted. I think that's where he really, the minutia of the game, starts to slow down for him. Year 5 of C.J. Stroud. And on that rookie deal, that's when you can kind of push that cap back and make that year really cheap for your team. That's when you're signing that extension. You can kind of underlay it first, all that signing bonus, and then back end it. Houston Texans, Minnesota Vikings, 2027. All right, 2028, 2029. Who we got? We're really looking deep in the crystal ball.
I got the Chicago Bears in 2028 playing against the Houston Texans.
I had the Bears against the Jags.
Really?
Oh, we're on the same page. I just had to throw you a bone.
You just said something nice about the Bears.
I had to throw you a bone. Ben Johnson.
Hey, Mom, write it down. Mike said something nice about the Bears.
Ben Johnson, I mean, he will turn it around.
This is big of you.
He will turn it around. I hated the hire because he will turn it around. He's the first Bears coaching hire that I'm actually like, this guy gets it. You hear him talk.
You're a little afraid of him.
I'm not afraid of no man.
He scares you.
No man scares me. But I am afraid of the rest of the NFC North because it's just stacked conference. You could do this list and it could just be NFC North teams on the NFC side. That's how 100%. Good. And that's how set up they are for long-term success.
But we didn't name the Lions because they've been poached.
Because they have. I do think the arrow, now again, they have so much young talent. The arrow's still pointed up, but it's difficult. They not only lost him, they lost Henry Engstrand. They obviously went elsewhere for their offensive coordinator position, but, man, I just have a difficult time being able to replace Ben Johnson. So I had Bears, Jags, because I think Liam Cohen will get the most out of Trevor Lawrence, and that's what it's going to take for them to kind of clean this house in Jacksonville of all those bad contracts they have and start getting some better ones on the book. All right, 2029.
I saw Jaxson Dart hit a golf ball on Instagram.
Okay. They said 203 mile per hour ball speed, and it only went 336.
That's like Rory.
That's like 15 miles per hour faster than Rory. That is elite long drive.
Jaxson Dart, wherever he gets drafted, 2029, he's going to play in the Super Bowl. And I can't tell you who they're going to play against because I don't know what conference Jaxson Dart's going to be in.
So you're literally just saying Jaxson Dart. You were buying into
based on his top golf swing.
One Top Golf. I actually went to that Top Golf that week. Pretty sweet down there in Mobile, Alabama. Mine, Carolina Panthers. Bryce Young,
there we go,
at QB, and Eric Eager, VP of Analytics there, going to, by then, he'll actually have David Tepper's ear and have turned things around enough that Bryce gets his ring. And he's going up against, you're going to love this, Tennessee Titans. Picking number 1 overall right now. They're going to go Cam Ward. Cam Ward's going to turn the franchise around. 2029, Carolina Panthers versus the Tennessee Titans. All right, recap your 5 here.
First, I started with Chiefs. I had Chiefs and Eagles in next year's Super Bowl. It's going to be a rematch. And then 2026, Chicago and Buffalo. Then I've got Washington and Cincinnati. And then we got Chicago making their way back to the Super Bowl against Houston. And then in 2029, I just have Jaxson Dart.
I want that clipped, and I want that on CBS Sports socials because 2029 just being Jaxson Dart is fantastic.
It's your year, Jackson.
All right, I had Packers-Ravens next year. Commanders-Bengals. Vikings, Texans, Bears, Jags, and then Panthers, tight ones.